One of the big things that Google does for you as you're searching is to provide additional extra information to try to help you along, trying to discover whatever it is you're trying to discover. Let me give you a few examples here. As you can see on this page, I've done the query Sagittaria. One of the great things that Google now does is to provide a panel on the right-hand side over here that is a summary of information we know about that well-known entity. You might not know what Sagittaria is, Google does. And it pulls that information together and provides a nice little neat compilation. Let me show you this live because it's a nice feature to look at. If I do a search, I'm just going to do that Sagittaria search again. This panel appears on the right-hand side with a summary of what's known. In this case, you can see the sources from Wikipedia. But also, you should notice that these links over here are live. So, for example, I can click on scientific name, and it will take me to a compilation of information about that information source, all nicely compiled and put together for you about Sagittaria. You can also click here on this link and then see that information, in this case, for the higher classification for that particular plant. Again, we get a panel on the right-hand side. Let me go back to that page. Now, one of the things you'll notice is there's a lot of interesting information here. Sagittaria is a genus of plant, and look at this. It has the name Katniss in the middle of it. I'm not sure if you knew this, but this is a great example of where this popular name comes from. In this case, it comes right out of Wikipedia, and if we do our Command F trick again, we can jump immediately to that point and see that there's a disambiguation step here between Katniss as a character in a movie or a book and Katniss as the name for this particular kind of aquatic plant. Now, one of the things you should notice is that we provide all this information, but there's other kinds of information that we give you in addition to the panel on the right-hand side. You've probably noticed that sometimes when you do queries, Google will provide suggestions immediately below the query box. So here, as I was typing Sagittaria, you would see the Sagittarian query suggestion and Sagittaria latifolia and Sagittarian arrows all appear as suggestions. What that means is these are other queries that other people have done before you that were really common. Again, let me show you this live. I'm going to redo that query. Sagittaria. Now you see as I'm typing, the suggestions are starting to show up below. As I start to add letters that disambiguate what the query will be, you can see those suggestions change. If you back up a couple of characters, you can see here the possible completion of Sagittarius, but the suggestions are all following along the idea of Sagittarius. But when I say it's really Sagittaria, the plant, you can see now the suggestions have changed. So this is a great way to get a sense for the kinds of things that other people have been looking for, and maybe that will help get you unstuck and get out of your conceptual query box. So that's one mechanism. Another mechanism to know about is what we call search as you type. This is a way of, as you type in your query, of actually providing results in the background as you're typing. Here, for example, we've done the query orange, and those results have already appeared in the bottom. Let me do this live. Again, it's a little hard to see in just a static slide. So now let's do this query, oranges, book. Now before I hit space, it has already filled in the suggestions below right here, but also the results here have appeared and I haven't hit enter yet. This is Google trying to help you out. The reason it does this is to provide a really interesting way for you to recognize results that you may not know how to formulate. Here, the real task here was to try to find a book written about oranges by a Scottish author. Now, I don't actually know how to find Scottish author names on Google, but what I can do is recognize that in the very first result, I have a nice result by John McPhee, who's an American author, but with a Scottish name. The point is, by doing Google search as you type, you can get these results starting to flood in, and you can do very rapid recognition. This allows you to change your query and target it more towards the kind of thing you're really looking for. All this without you actually having to even hit enter. So that's search as you type. Suggestion, remember, are the suggested queries below the query box. Search as you type fills in the results behind you as you're typing along. So this is the difference. Suggestions are the compiled efforts of many millions of people doing queries before you, and instant searches you type, are the results pouring in as you work through your problem. So this is really nice when you're a little unsure and you're trying to frame your question more appropriately. You can use both of those mechanisms to help you get along. Another tool that we provide is what we call related searches. Now, related searches are also the searches that you see in Suggest, but you can often get a more complete list of those suggestions down at the bottom of the page. Let me show you what I mean here. So if I go back to my Sagittaria book, my Sagittaria query here, we can see all the related queries down here at the bottom of the page. So what you're seeing is actually several different mechanisms that Google provides to help you explore the space of ideas around the concept you're trying to search for. So let's do a concept like New York City. This puts it all together. On the right-hand side, we see the panel, and you can see there's a whole bunch of information compiled here. Again, you can drill down, and any of these links that are underlined like that, you can actually get to more information about this, in this case, about New York City foundation date. If you scroll to the bottom, you can see here the related searches, again, trying to get you other ideas in order to help you expand your search. So what we've seen is that Google is really trying to provide you a whole wealth of information in addition to the simple query search results response mechanism. We try to give you related searches that millions of other people before you have done. We try to give you additional information on a panel when we have a precise result that summarizes that kind of information. And we're trying to put this all together in the context of things like real-time suggestions and real-time searches you type information to help you get to your answer faster.